talk briefly about divine alignment. In order to make real change on planet Earth, including changing the weather, we have to be divinely aligned with the divine. Let me first tell you what divine alignment is not. Ooh, there's some thunder. Divine alignment is not argument and debate, which is where you see on all the news two talking heads arguing and debating. That is misalignment. Divine alignment is not righteous wrongness. In other words, I'm right and you're wrong, which could also be called defend and attack. Defend and attack happens when somebody puts up their defense and tries to attack or make wrong another person. I recently saw this in a group that I was leading. At the very last night, somebody went into that program in their DNA as a way to self-sabotaged, which is also a form of not being aligned divinely. Divine alignment is also not, I reserve the right to disagree. Whenever someone says, well, I can still disagree with you, what they're really doing is creating opposition. And what they're doing that from this false illusion of misalignment. They're misaligned with divinity because they need to hold the right to be right and make you wrong. And it's a passive aggressive way of disagreeing. And whenever someone's disagreeing, that's a passive way that keeps them out of divine alignment. Now, this doesn't mean you have to agree with everyone or everything. It doesn't mean that you can't have a conversation. It's that the new 5D paradigm, and in order to make real, dramatic, and effective quality change for the better, we have to come into divine alignment. It means we can't argue and debate. We can't be in a kind of disagreement that makes you right and someone else wrong, or puts a gap of differentiation between you and another. You still get to keep your differentiation, but the way it's done is through what we call agreement, non-polarity, neutrality, divine neutrality or divine alignment. So rather than saying, I have the right to disagree, or just because I don't agree doesn't mean I can't, they use that as a little leverage. That happened to me recently at the end of one of my events. I was sharing something and I realized, oh, this person's playing that game, and it really was not fun. It doesn't feel good when someone does that. They say, I have the right to disagree with you. What really it's about is offering agreement through divine neutrality and divine alignment. So what that really means is you offer a word of agreement or an energy of agreement, which is divine feminine, rather than the old masculine argument, debate, divide and conquer. All that stuff is old paradigm. Divide and conquer, right, wrong. I reserve the right to disagree with you. The new way of offering divine femininity, divine alignment is, yes. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything that someone says. It's that you're no longer in opposition, oppositional force. Divine alignment is, I hear you. Wow. Interesting. Yes. So notice I didn't say necessarily if someone was saying something that I didn't agree with, I'm not making them wrong. I'm not telling them, well, I reserve the right to disagree, especially if someone's in pain, if someone's hurt, if someone's in pain, if someone's suffering in any way. If we try to hold power over another by saying, well, I have the right to disagree, or my viewpoint is, or that's wrong, you're wrong, or I don't agree, or let's get into an argument or debate, or two people arguing and debating, that is old paradigm energy and never feels good in the new paradigm. New paradigm reserves the right to be and allow. And the way we respond and interact is, wow, I can hear you on that. Wow, I understand you. Or, yes, or, of course you would feel that way. Of course. Oh, wow. Or how about this? Interesting. Wow, that's really interesting. I'm interested to know more. Or, wow, it's an energy of agreement, which is a divine feminine energy. Why is this so important? Because we cannot change the weather or anything else. We can't come into harmony. We can't even be there for another person who might need us to hear or to listen. My dog is ready to come out. We can't even be there for another person if our desire is to disagree, even if the disagreement is, well, I can be here for you, but I reserve the right to disagree, or I reserve the right to have my own opinion. That's just disagreement. All that does is create agitation and irritation. Recently, when someone did that to me, I got so agitated and irritated. It took me a little while to unpack, like, oh, she was making me wrong. She was making me wrong. At a time when I needed someone to just say, wow, I hear you. I can understand. I can understand. Wow, yes, that must have hurt. Or, wow, that must have been upsetting. Or, of course you would feel that way. You just poured everything out. You just gave everything. Of course you would feel. You offer some form of agreement because you no longer need to argue or debate. You understand that person's feelings, that person's experience, that person's understanding, that person's interpretation is theirs. They have every right to it. Now, in order to get to a frequency where you can change something as dramatic as the weather, for example, which I just did this morning, you must be able to be in agreement and in harmony with everything. What I gave was one small example of how the old paradigm we're taught argue and debate, and that's coded into the DNA, by the way, corrupted programming that has to be cleared out of the DNA. Argue, debate, defend, and attack. Defend and attack is when we try to make ourselves right. For example, I feel like you do this. Do you know you do that? I feel, so this is defend and attack. And that's done. And another one is where we try to default someone's character. That is done on the mainstream media all the time. It's a form of defend and attack. All that stuff is old paradigm. It keeps us out of our power and out of divine alignment. In order to come into divine alignment, we must find within ourselves the ability to be neutral and accepting and allowing about everything without offering resistance or making anyone or anything wrong. That's not easy for humanity. Once we can come into that divine alignment, which is a form of agreement, it does not mean you have to agree. It means you have to be willing to understand or to allow whatever is to be what it is. It is what it is. You wouldn't look at this pink shirt and be like, that's not pink, that's orange. You could get into an argument about it, but it is what it is. Someone sees it as orange, someone else sees it as pink. Whatever it is, it is. That energy of divine alignment, the more we practice that in relationships with people, places, groups, and organizations, the more we can come into divine alignment, the more we can make magical miracles happen for ourselves and for all of humanity. Now, I want to say this. For those of you who want to learn how to come into more divine alignment, because you will have so much more harmony in your world, and you will be in so much more harmony within yourself, please do join us at the Sacred Crystal Retreat in Arkansas. It's coming up in September. And this is the kind of stuff we work on. We work on bringing our energy fields into divine alignment and divine harmony with all that is. From that place, we have incredible power. And this form of power is about making change for the better, for the whole of humanity, and of course for ourselves and our lives. On all levels and layers of our existence, physical, emotional, mental, energetic, spiritual, monetarily, relationship-wise, and we transcend those old paradigm structures and experiences that are no longer serving us. So please join us. It's coming up in September at the Sacred Crystal Retreat in Arkansas with me. I'm so excited. It's the 4th or 5th year I'm leading this retreat, and I cannot wait until it is such a wonderful time. We have the most fabulous time. You can learn more at LoriSpagna.com under the live events tab. You'll see the Starseed Lightworker Crystal Experience. And then also please go to LoriSpagna.com/free gifts/crystals to learn how you can be working with crystals to activate your dormant DNA, communicate telepathically with them and all of life, and to learn specifically what crystals you need to get you through this frequency band shift, this polar shift, this polarization shift, pole shift that's going on planet Earth from shadow to light, and find yourself in the divine neutrality and divine harmony in between to navigate uncertain times in a very steady and balanced way. Okay, all of that is at LoriSpagna.com. I hope to see you in Arkansas in September. And until then, thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys so much. See you next time. Okay, bye-bye.